Dane, I'll start with you. Do you think next year, again, this projection for the budget deficit is $6 billion? Just briefly, is it going to be better than that or worse than that?
I think it'll be better. There's a lot of indicators that the economy is really recovering. And I note what Phil said about the most recent calculations, and I think that growth will help us. And so I'm pretty confident that November forecast will be less than 6.
Boyce, better or worse?
I think it'll be better, but one dynamic I want to pick up on quick here is Phil just said now after Governor Plenty is kind of a lame duck that he raised business taxes. Maybe he should have said that during the session. And Democrats maybe should have gone to leadership during the session and disagreed with him a little more vehemently on some budget issues. Because just to pick on Representative Zellers, I don't know if he left, but I know he can take it, is that he's a football player who played in college, and Tim Pawlenty's a hockey player who didn't even play in high school. And so as the minority leader, he probably could have stood up to the governor, because I think that's ultimately what the problem of the last session has been.
Greg?
I think it'll be marginally better or marginally worse.
You're not running for office.
Greg, are you sure you're not running for office? Because
there'll be a slight improvement, or it'll get slightly worse. I don't think there's not going to be huge swings. I mean, and that's what the legislature, quite frankly, Dane talked about this kicking the can down the road, which is what they did. I mean, and I understand why. I mean, it makes some sense to bet on the come, right? To see what the economy is going to hold, and see if that will make some of the decisions for them. And that's not a bad strategy to do. I don't criticize the legislature for doing that. I just don't believe, I think at the end of the day, again, I'll get back to what Representative Winkler said, that we are at the fork in the road. And so the decision will have to be made. It's not going to be taken away by a booming economy, at least not that I see in the foreseeable future.
I just want to say that as a kid, kick the can was one of my favorite games, and the legislature is giving it a bad name. It's giving it a bad rap. Phil?
I would say that probably the forecast, contrary to what sometimes Mr. Hauser says on that issue, is that the
Thank you for the plug. 10 a.m. Sundays. Go ahead, Phil.
That the economic forecasts that are produced by our fine people at the Department of Management and Budget Office are fairly accurate. In the context, yes, occasionally when the economy makes a dramatic swing one way or the other, they miss, but most of the time they are fairly accurate. And again, the situation is that you need to ask whether they're running for governor, whether they're running for the legislature, specifically, what are they going to do? And I would say that when you listen to candidate Mark Dayton say he's going to raise taxes in the state of Minnesota by $4 billion in order to deal with this issue, that, in my view, being a 30-year small business owner, would be absolutely devastating to the economic recovery in the state of Minnesota.
All right, let's have a round of applause for all of our panelists this morning. One last plug for At Issue. This week we will have, some of you may be familiar with our annual Greatest Hits compilation from the funniest moments that we take completely out of context and take no prisoners. It will air this Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, and it's pretty amusing, so I hope you can tune in and see that. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm going to bring Bruce up here now for some concluding remarks, and again, thank you all. Have a great day.
Tom, thank you so much again, and thanks for stealing the thunder. Watch At Issue, 10 o'clock Sunday mornings. Great show. We appreciate you being here today and your great spirit at the Capitol House. I want to thank Dane, Blois, Greg, and Phil for being here as well. Thanks for indulging us an extra 10 minutes this morning. We appreciate that. One of the things we do love here at Twin West is great participation by our legislators, so thanks for showing up today. Deeply appreciated. A couple program notes. This concludes our series for the 2009-2010 Legislative Breakfast. We'll start back up again in September, where we'll run another 10 programs, and we'll be excited to offer you some great programming during that time. Hopefully you've enjoyed the series. We've certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Also, I know we probably have a lot of great questions on the governor's race, and I wish we could get to that. Hopefully our panelists can stick around for a few minutes afterwards. You can ask questions or questions of our legislators, but I do want to announce that on August 26th, Twin West is hosting a gubernatorial debate. It'll be at General Mills. The program will begin at 7:30 and end approximately 9:15. So if you're interested in that, scribe that down in your phone that I asked you to turn off. Turn it back on now. Put that in your phone. We'd love to have you there. General Mills, August 26, 7:30. Again, I want to thank our great sponsors, our series sponsor, Grand Casino. Thank you very much, Grand. Reoccurring sponsor, Voyager Bank. Thank you. We appreciate that. Always great to have Capital Report and Politics in Minnesota with us. And NIAP, thanks for your great work. Also, thanks to Comcast and Swank Audio Visual for providing AV this morning. That concludes our program. Have a great, fantastic, and profitable day.